Hello, beautiful human. Thank you for taking the time here to listen, to watch, to learn about your metabolism. First of all, welcome to my office. I'm in my bed. And I feel like this is the best way that I'm able to share today. I had a massage yesterday and wow, my tissues are so sore and they're so tired. I feel like my body's just releasing. And I tried doing this sitting in a desk, upright, but it was just not working. So I'm here leaning back and yeah, just resting while I share this beautiful information with you. So, metabolism. Now, you've heard, you've learned in the past, but I really want to talk with you about metabolism in this season of your life, and the narratives and the things that we've learned that are true and that help us, and then the things that we've learned that they don't serve anymore. They just now. And this is a rewiring and a repatterning process because potentially for so long we've heard that as you age, your metabolism slows down. And that notion leads to your metabolism slows down, therefore you will gain weight, or you'll gain weight easier, or it'll be harder for you. It'll just be hard. Everything will be hard because everything slows down after 35, right? But I'm here to attest otherwise. I'm 38. My metabolism is amazing. I have my friends, the women around me are in their 40s and 45, 47, 48. And their metabolisms are healthy and they are not experiencing the amount of difficulty that, society programs us to make it seem like it's supposed to be. So this conversation is essentially very important because we've been told for so many years that as we age, our metabolism slows down, and there is merit to that, which I'll go into, but we also have agency over that. But because we've been told this so much, we have these underlying, it's patterned in our nervous system, right? So our behaviors are going to be in alignment with what our nervous system believes. So, you might be hearing that, skipping meals is really not the best thing for your blood sugar, for your hormones, for your metabolism. Yet there's some part of you that just always manages to skip a meal here and there. And you also know over exercising is detrimental. Yet, when you get the call to go for that hike or do that extra activity, you always say yes. Right? And that might be because your metabolism is programmed to live in that fear response of oh my gosh, if I don't do this, I'm going to gain weight. But yeah, that's a narrative. We just want to air it out, right? Because it's there, right? It's there for all of us. It was there for me too. So we just want to okay, there's another way here. Yes, there is. So let's talk about the parts that are true about your metabolism slowing down. So your metabolism is your body's energetic capacity. It's the energy that your body requires in a day to do the work that your body needs to do. And your body's always working in the background. It's doing so freaking much. It's processing information. It's regulating your blood pressure. It's doing the lipid metabolism. It's metabolizing fat. It's producing hormones. It's repairing your cells. It's oxidizing your stress. It's, if you're trying to gain muscle, it's potentially trying to gather and gain muscle. It's detoxifying. It's trying to repair the gut and all the cells of the stomach and, the esophagus, and your cells are just constantly regenerating. Your brain is always firing. So if you're, reading a book or listening to a conversation or watching a show or driving, that's all information that your body has to process. And that information is processable because your body has energy that it uses to help all these things happen. And it's called ATP, adenosine triphosphate. It's the molecule of energy that your body uses. Your body's like a little machine that's always doing stuff, right? And so the part about your metabolism slowing down as you age is an assumption that your body starts to get depleted from energy and from nutrients, right? So energy, our body gets energy from water and oxygen, right? Those are the two life forces. And so this mainstream narrative that your metabolism slows down is just an assumption that yep, your lungs will stop functioning that well, and that you'll get more dehydrated, which does happen if you don't do anything about it. Your cells they just get older, right? So we get to fuel ourselves, we get to lubricate our tissues, we get to drink extra water, we get to eat extra oils, we get to breathe more, right? Because after all, when your organs slow down and so let's define your metabolism slowing down. Your fat burning slows down, your muscle metabolism slows down, your everything, your brain is part of your metabolism, right? It all slows down. And that's based off of the assumption that they get less oxygen. However, we have agency to take fuller breaths. We have agency to learn how to breathe. We have agency to choose to drink more water, to mindfully choose to consume more oils, like more healthy oils that are going to help lubricate our tissues. We have agency to stretch and to move our bodies so that they don't become these rigid, old, raggedy, lanky, fat things that society has this like instilled in us, that this is what happens when we age. And so obviously that's why you're here, you're health conscious, you eat well, you try to stay ahead of the game. But this conversation is so much more, because it's going to help give you other tools and techniques to stay ahead of the game without having to think that you always need to do that extra workout, or you always need to do the workout. Sometimes you don't need to do the workout, right? Or sometimes you don't need to miss that meal. You really don't. And I think these are things that but because society programs us our nervous system believes that as we get old, shit just gets hard, right? So then our behavior is as such. We might miss that meal accidentally. We might overtrain accidentally. We might overexercise, even though we know our brain knows, but our 95%, our subconscious believes otherwise. So this is really time to repattern our thoughts. And so I always recommend that you have like a journal that you write in. If you're really, 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 really committed and serious, just get a journal and just start brain dumping. And this is like a really non-judgmental thing. You can use your journal to plan your days, like whatever you use it for in the beginning. I highly recommend. It's also a tool to help you get present with like what you're focusing on. Because you don't want to have 1,000 things. You want to have one focus. Like when I work with my clients one-on-one, we have one focus, and we have one focus for 8 weeks, whether that's restoring the nervous system capacity, or whether that's, getting on a good movement schedule, or, whatever it is, having a focus. So notepad or phone, something to help you repattern and rewire. Also, watching these videos are such a good way, because you might have heard some of these things over and over and doing the follow-alongs, but like you actually doing it and like taking that aligned action is going to be the way forward. And that's why I love a membership site, because you can constantly have a place where you can like rewire your brain, right? I'm part of a membership site too. And I use it every day, because I too get to rewire my brain when it comes to, just descending into my body and my womb, and like my sexual health, and like just different things that I want to de-armor in my body, because I've also become a little numb from society, right? And so I have agency, though. I'm not going to blame society. I'm not going to try to do any quick fixes, even though I've tried. I just know that diving into the body is the way, and that I need help to repattern my brain. Okay, so metabolism is your body functioning in the background, right? It's that lipid metabolism, it's that hormone production, it's that muscle repair, it's the processing of the information that your brain, so you're watching a show, you're driving, all the things. It's the, stress levels. So as you experience stress, your body is always working in the background to oxidize and do the damn thing, right? So we don't turn into like acidic beings. Our body pH is always staying around 7.4. And so all these things require energy from your body. And so when, in the mainstream is the narrative is that we got to start doing the calorie deficit thing, or we got to start fasting, or we got to start, really restricting. But it's like when you understand your body and what's happening, you will get to know what you really need to do in order to help your body heal, and to help your mind heal, and to help you spirit, and help you feel fuller and more energetic and like back to life. And this also revolves around boundary setting and like other things, which I'll talk about, because everything that you do in your life requires energy. And so if you're constantly doing things and saying yes to everything, not everything is in alignment with your spirit, right? And also you're literally draining your energy sources, and those energy sources are taking away from your internal function, your body's ability to heal, your body's ability to repair, your body's ability to function. Like your organs will slow down if they don't have the energetic capacity that they need. So your digestion will slow down, your skin repair will slow down, your hormone production, your fat metabolism, your alcohol metabolism, your body's ability to repair your muscles, your body's ability to gain muscle, and it translates to everything, your hair, your skin, your nails, like literally everything. So we're going to talk about how to increase your metabolism, okay? Or how to boost, how to heal. So the first one is getting to know your energetic capacity. So you can do this just by like looking at your day planner, or like thinking about all the shit that you do in a day. And you might not even need to look. You're like, bitch, I do so much, right? And if you do so much, this conversation is going to be very healing for you. Okay, so the nervous system, right? If it's doing so much, we can assume that your nervous system is in fight or flight. Unless, you know, you've been doing this work and you really use your breath and you have all these practices to like let your body feel safe while you're like doing all the things. But no matter what, our bodies are protecting us. They're always keeping us up here. So our brain waves are going to fire faster. Our neurons are going to fire faster. Our body's going to release cortisol and adrenaline. Your blood flow is going to move away from your organs and into your extremities and into your brain, right? So sometimes if you have a hard time sleeping, it's because we're just like, your body's just like, oh, I got to be up here because this is what she uses the most. And so getting to know your nervous system, like where is it? Is it in a more activated state most of the day? Or is it in a parasympathetic, like rest and digest, right? So we're going to assume, or we're going to say like it's in the fight or flight. And this is also easier for me to speak to because that's where my body gravitates and has gravitated towards. So taking stock of where that is going to help understand your energetic capacity, right? And just going by how your body feels. Like, you know, that's also such a good way. It's like, oh my gosh, I feel drained. Okay. And that could be also like a busy mind. So once you know your energetic capacity, you're going to know what type of action to take to help boost your metabolism, like starting from here. Okay. So first is get to know your body, get to know if you're a fast burner, like get to know, you know, do you burn calories really quick, or does your body like love to hang on to weight and to calories? Okay. And then once you know, and like get honest and get clear, you know, this is for us to help us find alignment in our bodies, is you're going to learn how to breathe, right? This is the number one way to help boost your metabolism, because two reasons. One, the mechanics of breath are energetically requiring. Like your body is going to need a lot of energy to help use your diaphragm. The diaphragm is probably the number one most underutilized muscle. And when we don't use our diaphragm, our lungs will collapse slowly. Right? And so we'll only end up using, like, if these are your lungs here, your lungs are like big, but we'll only end up using like the top half of your lungs. And this is a problem because that means you're only taking this much oxygen. And that means out of this much oxygen, your organs are probably only getting this much oxygen because you're talking and you're moving and your muscles need oxygen too. Right? So you learning how to breathe is going to help you be able to expand the capacity of your entire body. Your body will function with more energy. Right? You'll not only have more energy in your brain, but your body will have more energy to repair, to produce, to detox, and to nurture and replenish your organs and your cells. Right? So that's the narrative in mainstream, is that, you know, yes, your body's just going to get depleted. And that's, yeah, if we continue using this much of our lungs, you know, and then we end up in the hospital and we end up getting put on inhalers and the breathing pumps and all the things, where it's like, no, we have the tools to learn how to use our diaphragm. And the more oxygen you can take in, the more your body is going to come alive. Your organs are going to be like, whoa, we got this extra energy. Okay, let's fire up the hormone production. Let's fire up the enzyme production. Let's fire up the muscle production. Let's fire up the brain waves. So you have more capacity to get creative and, like, you know, create. I know when I'm exhausted and overwhelmed, like, I'm not creative at all because my body's in conservation. Right? So learning how to breathe is such a good tool. So you can explore this membership site, and I'll also link a YouTube link here that I have. And it's just going to help you learn, right? You just follow along. You literally just press play and just follow along. It's the easiest thing in the world. And I've created it because I couldn't find anything else that taught the mechanics of breathing. Like, people always told me to meditate. And I'm like, bitch, no. Like, I never got anything out of it. My brain would be like off in another realm. And I would just get up feeling like, was that supposed to make me feel good? Because I wasn't present. I wasn't breathing properly. So I find using anatomy and using your body, learning your body, and then you learn how to breathe and you incorporate that through your day is like amazing. It's a breath of fresh air for your body and your organs and your skin and your hair and your nails and your intuition and your creativity and your capacity to actually want to do things. Right? So that's the biggest one. And as you use your diaphragm and your diaphragm gets stronger. So as you take a deep breath in, and we can do it here now. So let's take a deep breath in. Your diaphragm pulls down and your chest and your thorax and your rib cage expand. And as you exhale out stale, residual oxygen that's been sitting in the bottom half of your lungs because we've stopped using it. Right? So we're learning how to breathe is such a lifelong skill. And if, you know, it gets frustrating or if you forget, don't worry. That's why I say have a journal. And that's why I tell my clients to set alarms, set breathing alarms, and spend 5 minutes. I'm going to be loading on like 5-minute breathing meditations on this membership site because it is the way forward to help oxygenate your life. Like, it's going to put life back into your life. I promise you, you're going to heal your tissues things will heal when you learn how to breathe. Okay. So number one is getting to know your energetic capacity and listening to your nervous system, right? Are you in fight or flight? Number two is learning how to breathe. Number three is not skipping meals. Actually, I just want to go back to number one for a sec here. Learning how to listen to your nervous system. Okay, so, and I want to just give you the mirror of the mainstream versus like the optimal way. So mainstream will say, you got to show up for the workouts, the consistency, discipline, all those words that we've been hearing all our whole lives in order to help you get the body that you want and the physique and, the health. When in actuality, we want to listen to the nervous system, because if the nervous system is in fight or flight, it will not want to do any of those things. It will want to lay in a dark ass room and recover and come out of activation. And you're going to create safety by doing that, right? So if you're intuitively feeling like, dude, I just want to lay, dude, lay. Like lay in a dark room. I have done this before, and I guarantee you, and I'm here to give you permission and give you confirmation that it is what your body needs. And when you listen to that nervous system, that's the way forward. Then you can heal. Because if you're up here in activation, your cortisol levels are still going, but you're still doing the workouts and taking up all your friends on all their invitations to go do all the things, it's really not going to give you a chance to dive into the rest and digest and the parasympathetic. And the parasympathetic is where healing happens. I've spent hours laying in a dark room, and let me tell you, it benefited my digestion, my health, my mental health, my fitness, my fat burning, my menstrual cycle, because I could meet my nervous system where it was. Okay, so I just wanted to say that. Okay, and then number two was learning how to breathe. This is a for sure for everyone. And then number three is, the nutrition part, because if your body is slowing down, it's because it needs to be remineralized. Right? We got to like store it up so your body and your brain and your muscles and your organs and your tissues and your skin and your nails can like get vital again. And the best way that I think this is done is through food. Okay, different naturopaths will tell you to go get IVs and that whole thing. But I believe absorption is best when you consume it. Okay, you chew the food so your body starts producing the enzymes that you will use to digest. And if you get bloated, again, learn how to breathe, because it will definitely let your body dive into the parasympathetic and your body will heal from there. Okay, so yeah, not skipping meals, right? So we don't want to do the calorie deficit thing. I'm so against it. Like it's literally putting us into a more numb, disconnected state than anything. So get really mindful on like getting your nutrients in, high vibrational foods, eating from the ground. I'm eating like 4 fruits a day. I'm in Costa Rica right now. And one of the reasons I moved here was because I felt a deep body, mind, and spirit was speaking to me that I needed to remineralize my body. I was depleted mentally, physically. I was starting to feel numb in certain parts of my body, and I'm still healing some of that. And spiritually, I was feeling like, I'm feeling a little out of alignment. And so I'm so grateful that I had the space. And the point of this is that I'm eating 4 fruits a day, and it's amazing. I haven't gained a pound. I'm literally, I'm feeling more vibrant. I'm feeling like my cells are replenishing. It's taken a while, I'm not gonna lie, but I just here to counteract the mainstream narrative that fruits are sugar and sugar is bad. Processed sugar is bad. Like processed sugar is, sure, have it if you need it a little bit, but on the whole, it's going to age your cells, and it's going to add candida to your gut, and it's going to make you mentally foggy, and it's going to spike up your blood sugar, and then you're going to have a crash, and that's the worst thing in the world for hormones, right? So the sugars differentiate between the processed and the natural. Like fruits, and fruits also have fiber, they have nutrients, they have all those minerals that we need in order to remineralize our body and to help boost your metabolism again, so your organs can wake up and your muscles can actually like beef up, right? All the time you spend in the gym, your body's actually going to have the energetic stores to like create muscle. Yeah, so the meals, so important. And I will do a separate one on nutrition. I want to keep this really focused on metabolism, on the things to do. For example, like one of the things I'm doing here is I'm boosting up, because if your metabolism is slow, you won't get that hungry, right? And I was starting to feel that. I'm 38 and I was like super depleted. I was just like giving out all my energy. I was feeling really like wasted, right? And so when I started, I'm like, I need to eat more because like I'm withering away, but I had no appetite. So what I started doing is kind of like tricking my body just a little bit by giving it a really high glycemic breakfast. So it would be like, whoo, insulin levels would have to spike up. And I'm also kind of playing with my insulin sensitivity. Like we want insulin sensitivity, right? That's another conversation, but high glycemic. So it's oatmeal, and it's like a cup of oatmeal. Like I'm really putting it down. And then it's an apple, and then it's a banana. And then I have recently added ground flax because I found it in the nutrition store. But overall, that breakfast is very high on the glycemic index. So it's gonna like speed up the digestion. It's gonna, my metabolism is like, okay, we gotta process this food, and then it's gonna crash. And when it crashes, that's when your blood sugar drops. That's when you get hungry again. So I get hungry again after like 3 hours, 4 hours, sometimes 3.5, and then I'll eat again. But this time when I eat, I don't want to give my body again another blood sugar spike. I want to give it like more consistency. So I do the eggs and the avocado, or it's eggs and a piece of coconut, or it's eggs and sometimes it's eggs and another banana if that's all I have. Eggs and a piece of toast, if that feels good. Except for I don't like the toast here, so like unfortunately, because I love the toast back home, so I'm excited. But yeah, that's when you get to stabilize your blood sugars, right? So just spiking your appetite a little bit in the morning is a little trick to help your body like consume more calories. And when your body is knowing that it's getting more calories, it's gonna be like, okay, now suddenly everything can function with more vitality, more life. It's more excited, and my skin is nicer too. Okay, so that's a little trick to boost in case you lose your appetite or you've lost your appetite. And if you're the opposite, if you're like, actually, I don't have a problem with missing meals. I actually eat enough. I actually eat too much. Okay, then that's a whole like another separate conversation. It could be like a potential deficiency of minerals. So you just constantly feel like you need to eat. It could be like a boredom thing. It could be a coping mechanism for your body to feel pleasure. Maybe you could have like associations with dopamine and food. Yeah, there's a lot of things there. It could be like ancestral. So for that, like what if it's separate stuff, like you can reach out to me. I do one-on-one work too, because I realize that there are some times where not everything I say is going to be exactly relevant to you. So yeah, that's definitely another conversation. And there is so much more to that than like restricting your eating. There's an underlying narrative somewhere in there that's making you eat a lot or think about food a lot. And when you can just de-armor that narrative, it's like a breath of fresh air. Like, where has this been my whole life that I've been struggling with this? All right. And then, so number 4 is getting in tune with your menstrual cycle, because your menstrual cycle is largely part of your rhythm and your energetic capacity, right? So we have our circadian rhythm, which dictates our energetic cycle on a 24-hour basis, right? Daytime cortisol levels increase, adrenaline goes up a little bit, digestion is up, and then nighttime melatonin releases. So then like winding down, digestion slows down, and the body just kind of winds down for sleep, right? And we also have this 28-day monthly cycle, right? And so we're really getting in tune with that, because as in the beginning of your cycle, when you're bleeding, your hormones they're depleted, your energy is lower, your cortisol threshold is lower. So that means anything that you do, you just have a lower threshold. So if you're going to go and do a hardcore training session while you're bleeding, you're most likely going to pass your cortisol threshold, and that means your body's going to start releasing cortisol, and that's when your body starts storing fat, and you just don't make any progress, right? It's like a line, because you just don't go anywhere. And so really honoring that. And so I always advise to like get into a nice stretching routine, and moving the tissues around is also such a nice way to help your body feel more lubricated, and it's going to help pass through all this food and oxygen that you're now breathing in and taking in better, right? Your body, lubrication is big. Lubrication, we want fascial lubrication. So maybe you're stretching when you have your period, and that's going to be your lubricating time. And then your mid-cycle, where you have more energy, your cortisol threshold is higher, that's when you can train, right? Because you're like, ooh, you can use those muscles, and your body will have the nutrient storage to actually produce muscle there. It's actually like grow muscle and repair muscle, right? And then the end of your cycle again, your body starts to down regulate in terms of energy. So, you really want to listen to the cycle, because in turn, it's part of your metabolism, right? That energetic cycle, like your body's requirements for what it's doing. So when your body's bleeding, it needs energy for that. It needs just to feel like, oh, I just want to bleed. I know for my cycle, my last cycle that I just had, to be honest, I did not give myself the time. I kept going, and I had this like kind of, it's January, I'm back into like service and like sharing videos and back into like my business and my work. And so I got my period, and I was just like, and so I kind of pulled myself out of it. And now what I'm noticing is that I'm still bleeding, but it's like just spotty, and it's dark blood. It's like my body should have already actually eliminated that if I took the time to just rest. So, my friend, that is what I have to share with you about metabolism. Whatever you got from this is the way forward. And I'm going to leave you with a closing bit of how long do I do this for? And like, what do I do with this? And this is where we get to trust our intuition. We get to have journaling, and we get to have some accountability. The Facebook group is opening soon, where we can just share, or you can even reach out to me and ask questions, because this is repatterning, right? We want to stay in our priorities. We want to stay in the experimenting of what we're doing. It's always an experiment. Like, don't expect, do this for 30 days and boom. Like, your body is just it's gonna learn to trust you, and it's gonna learn to trust that what you're doing is for the best intentions of your body, right? And that you're really listening. You have that stretch routine. You take in those extra salts and those extra sugars and those extra nutrients, and you have a breathing practice, and you're really mindful about getting your water in, and you're mindful, and you're just caring, and you're nurturing, and you're really quieting down that noise, those narratives that are so loud. Yes. And when we do these things, our bodies become vital, and they become functional. Body, mind, spirit, your soul, your skin, your hair, your nails, your muscles, your hormones, your liver, your fat production, your fat metabolism, your muscle production, like all the things that your body needs to do. You can have more presence, your brain, you sleep better, you recover better, you detoxify better, right? Because your body has capacity. It's not just like stagnant, hurt, injured, pain, deficiency, imbalance, right? It all stems from the nutrients, the water, the oxygen, the micronutrients. Yes. Okay, beautiful human. I'm going to leave you with that. And please reach out to me if you have any questions, because I'm here for you. Thank you.